I think I'm always drawn to scenes that feel timeless, the kind of things that will remain and that I want to hold on to, like maybe rituals of live music, the collectivity of being in a pub, or just sharing a moment together in a way that I think a lot of modern technology is moving us away from. Painting is a very untechnological thing to do. It's slow, it's against a lot of capitalist tendencies to produce a lot, and with my work I'm always trying to slow down, even just by drawing a moment rather than taking a picture. It's capturing a specific time and really focusing on that moment. My work could be put into the category of magical realism. I make paintings that are based on my own everyday experiences. I draw directly from observations. But then when I make the paintings of them, they take on a more surreal and magical quality. Through the act of painting, the subject can become something else. I first got into using spray paint just before lockdown in 2019. I'd always been drawn to the quality of spray paint, the way you can blend them together, and it can achieve at a larger scale something akin to watercolour, which is my first medium that I really loved. It has this kind of fluidity. Well, I think quite a lot about how materials can speak. Within spray paint, there's such a sort of language. It speaks to that punk, I guess. And then oil is just so traditional, and for me it feels very organic. I was interested in how the two materials, like the oil paint layered over the spray paint, could create this dialogue between past and present. It just felt like an interesting way to keep my work in the present, because a lot of my references and the painters that I look at and the more traditional approach that I have to making art is very grounded in 19th century post-Impressionism. The feeling of oil paint and also the versatility and just the fact that it's been around for so long. I like to tap into that lineage of art and be in dialogue with that, but then the spray paint is being in touch with something that feels much more contemporary. All my sketches are in pencil. For me, it's more just like a blueprint to freeze a moment. I'll work from the same sketch a lot, so I'll sort of do variations, and each time the colours shift a bit. The way that I choose colour is very intuitive, but I'm interested in how often there are associations within that colour or that material and how it all leads together to create this larger atmosphere, I guess. It might depend on the subject matter. Well, it started with making these tiny paintings, which I call my icons, and I was sort of trying to riff off the traditional icon painting that we use for religious purposes. And I wanted to do something that mimicked, but in a contemporary way, the iridescence of the gold. That's why I started using this fluorescence, because I wanted to have a feeling of something magical and reflective, but in a different way. And then I kind of discovered this pink, which I use specifically on my larger paintings. I see it as a colour that unites all the paintings, so even if the other colours are different, they always have this base, because I see them all as very connected and almost like frames in a scene. I like to say sometimes that my work is like looking at things through a rose-tinted lens, and like that pink gives that warmth and coziness when I'm often using colours that aren't that warm and cozy, and they're sludgy or muddy, and I want there to be that constant tension between the two. Often symbols recur in my work without really noticing. I'm always drawn to drawing candles and things that feel timeless. It's almost like a memory. These sketches are just quite diaristic, I suppose. Places that I've been, friends I know, and then I'll have these sketches and I'll look through them and use them as a skeleton for a painting. I'm working off something that is very small and quickly drawn, so often I've used the paint to find a form or find more than what the original memory has. It's almost like I'm using the paint to fill in the gaps of the memory of the time. I'll quite often make lots of sketches of one night. It operates more like how my brain is operating, really. Well, often like people are moving around whilst I'm drawing them, so I like the sort of traces of where people have been, and I've been thinking a lot about that in my work recently. I'm interested in the spaces that so many people have moved through. So many different lives have all been lived at the same time, and you're never really going to know anyone else's experience. This is just someone, like a being in a space, always in that state of becoming rather than this is who you are. And it's almost vague enough and blurry enough that people then can find their own memories within it. I'm quite interested in spaces within spaces. I like to reduce the hierarchies within an image or play around with them, because often in a painting or when we take a photo of something, the people are like seen as the top thing. But I think with my paintings, other things are just as important. Yeah, just like the furnishings. They can have a life in themselves and they can tell a story just as much as a human can. Everything has this kind of story that it can tell.